The New England Patriots, a storied franchise, not just in the NFL, but in all North American sports. But my oh my, what a long way down it is from the top. How the mighty have fallen, spoiled by the greatness that was once Tom Brady, now subdued to the mediocrity that is Mac Jones. Can the Patriots get back to their winning ways? All this and more on this episode of the J&J Sports Podcast.
What do you think having a 37-year-old?
We're on to Cincinnati. It's nothing about the past, nothing about the future. Right now, we're preparing for Cincinnati.
Welcome to another episode of the J&J Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Johnny, along with my co-host, the always wonderful Mr. Joe Monte Calvo. How'd you like that intro, Joe?
Very on point, very accurate. And just to answer one of your questions in that, will they ever get back on top? And I think as long as Belichick is in charge, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, listen, you've been a long-time fan, even before I even met you, so you are not a bandwagoner, as people would say.
No, far from it.
Yeah, exactly. So look, before we get into it, I mean, I'm here to ask you some questions and get your feelings on everything. So before we get started, what are your feelings about the team, just generally, so far this year?
They're a shocking disaster. I never expected this. Right now, they stand at 2-9. They have a chance at a top 3 pick in this NFL draft. I never thought the day would come under Bill Belichick. Never.
It's it's been pretty horrid. I mean, when they drafted Mac Jones at the beginning, I mean, things were looking up for a little bit, but it doesn't seem like it now, does it?
Well, yeah, they got off to a 10. They won a 10-7 with Mac Jones. They went back into the playoffs the first time since since Brady left.
Yeah.
So, things were looking up. Then inexplicably, Josh McDaniel goes to the Raiders as their head coach, and then Bill Belichick decides to bring in Joe Judge and Matt Patricia in to run the offense, sort of like a duo to run the offense. Neither of them had ever really coached the offense before. I mean, Matt Patricia was defensive coordinator. So I think things slowly started to crumble there for Mac Jones last year. He got benched at one point in the Chicago Bears game on Monday night for Bailey Zappi. The fans were chanting for Zappi's name. So that was kind of the beginning of the end, and then it's just gotten worse and worse this year. The team there's no talent. The offensive line can't block. Mac Jones lost all his confidence. They're 2-9. The season's just over.
It's been a snowball effect. I know you have some stats that you want to pull up just quickly. I mean, when Tom Brady was there, comparing to right now.
Yeah, well, these are pretty damning stats for Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
His record with and without Tom Brady. So again, it goes without saying he won 6 Super Bowls with Brady, went to the playoffs 17 times, won 17 division titles, at 30 playoff wins, a 769 win percentage. But then his stats without Tom Brady, this even includes his time in Cleveland, 82 wins, 99 losses. He's been under 500 8 times. That never happened with Tom Brady. Never won a division, only made the playoffs twice. Has only one career playoff win without Tom Brady. So, yeah. And the thing is that Brady left, and then he goes and wins his 7th Super Bowl during the COVID year with Tampa Bay, just to enhance his legacy a little more.
There was always the question, who was the reason for all this success? Was it just Tom Brady? Was it Belichick? But I mean, I guess we can clearly see that it was probably Tom Brady, right, all along?
Well, that's it. I'm such a big Patriots fan. I never thought it was a 50-50 split, but I lean more Brady, like 60-40. But I mean, since Brady's left, I mean, it's just showed just the kind of value Tom Brady had in that organization, how he covered up for a lot of his mistakes, because it's just been horrible decision making, bad drafts, and this didn't happen overnight. It's been years and years of this just accumulating, and now it's without Tom Brady, without stars like Julian Edelman, Rob Gronkowski, and now Devin McCourty's retired, Dante Hightower's retired on defense.
You could go down the list.
Yeah.
Look, it's in the past now. We gotta look at the future. It's nice to reminisce sometimes, but so I have a couple of questions here now for you. So first, going back to Mac Jones, he had a great rookie year, right? He also made a Pro Bowl appearance, but now he went from that to more recently against the Giants, getting benched in the second half, to our guy Tommy DeVito. So what happened? What happened?
What happened is this thing that's been happening all year. He's been pulled 4 times out of his 11 starts this year. It's just I think Mac Jones' time in New England is done. I don't even know why he's still starting at this point. I guess if they want to tank, they should keep Mac Jones in because he's the perfect guy to have in there to tank. He's just been terrible.
It's time to put the plug on him.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
don't even know why he's still starting. I wouldn't have started him this past week against the Giants. I would have started Zappy. Zappy comes in the second half. I'm not saying that he's really any better, but at least he gave the offense some spark. He's scored a
exactly.
touchdown.
Exactly. I mean,
But
do you
yeah,
think it's all? It obviously can't all be on Mac Jones. Like,
no, most
no,
this is on Bill Belichick. I mean, he's the head coach. He's the GM. Everything runs through him. He does all the
exactly.
decision making. He builds the roster.
I'm
It's just
glad
years and years of it.
I'm glad you said that because that leads me to my next question. Now, Belichick, is he gone next year? I mean, he has denied the rumors of him leaving. You know, he says
He's
what
obviously
people want
going
to
to deny
hear.
the rumors. He's the kind
Yeah,
of coach
exactly.
that'll never give you anything. I mean, they're 2-8, 2-9. He's still deflecting. He's still not answering who his starters are and all this. Which I mean, at this point, does it really matter? He always tried to, he's trying to cover up his secrets. Doesn't want to give the other team like any intel. But I mean, when you're 2-8, does it matter who is starting?
Is
When you
there anyone?
suck,
Is to say the least. I mean, yeah, it's
yeah.
hard to watch. It's hard to watch. Is there any like bright spots on this team? Like anyone or any position in any way that makes you feel good a little bit?
Well, from the past draft there in 2023 was the past draft. They got Christian Gonzalez, a corner in the first round. I mean, he was excellent the first few games. Then unfortunately got injured in the Cowboys game, and he's been out for the whole season now because of that. So he was showing some signs of promise. I mean, it's good you brought that up. We're going to go over some of the drafts here. I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
this is the
exactly.
last this is the last 4 years going back to 2020. There's going to be another slide coming with the 4 years prior. So this is like the last 8 years,
Yeah,
just to show you when you don't
I mean,
draft well, especially in the NFL, it eventually catches up to you.
yeah. Obviously, so you said going back 8 years. Obviously, Brady was still there at that point, so I'm sure like drafting wasn't really a priority for them, right?
Well,
Ye- Yes,
it's showing just how how much neglect they had and what
despite
Brady was covering up for them. Because even
exactly.
as you'll see eventually, just to go over some of the drafts. So I'm not getting ready to declare anyone bust yet from this past draft. They're only in their rookie years. Like I said,
Okay.
Christian Gonzalez has shown some promise. So has like Keon White and Marte Mapu, even City. So they've gone some flashes from Keyshawn Booty and Demario Douglas this year. But then you go back to like last year's draft in 2022. Cole Strange is a complete bust. I know he's a starter right now. He's more of like a third or fourth round talent that they took in the first round. Tyquan Thornton's a complete bust. Marcus Jones is always in and out of the lineup. They cut Jack Jones. The list goes
Yeah,
on.
yeah.
The 2021 draft.
Do,
I mean, the one stud I would say in there is Christian Barmore. He's really impressed me, especially this year on the defensive end. And they've gotten some good production from Ramondre Stevenson, excuse me. But then again, Mac
yeah,
Jones, he's greatly regressed. The
yeah,
2020
exactly.
draft, Kyle Duggar really seems to be the only standout from that draft as it stands now.
Other than the quarterback position, is there any dire need of an upgrade somewhere else? Obviously,
Yeah,
quarterback.
everywhere,
It's the.
everywhere. They need receivers. They need offensive line. They need a
Okay,
defensive line. They need some linebackers for
I'll
sure.
ask you this: in this draft, if you do have like top five pick or top three, like you were saying, do you go for a quarterback or do you go for someone else? Is what I'm asking you.
You have to go for a
You go
quarterback.
for a
But if
quarterback.
they
Yeah.
pick third, there's a chance are the top two players this year are probably going to be quarterbacks, Caleb Williams and what is it, Drake May. They're probably going to be the top two picks. Which then, if the Patriots draft third, there's Marvin Harrison Jr., who's the son of the legendary Colts receiver Marvin Harrison.
Okay.
So
Is,
they also need a receiver. So if there isn't a quarterback available, then I would be definitely drafting him as a wide receiver.
is there any receivers they could get in the offseason that you might be looking at?
Well, the
No
thing is,
one.
they have like I think it's 70 to 80 million dollars in cap space. So that's not always a good thing because a
Yeah,
couple of years ago they had a lot of cap space and they went and signed guys like Jonnu Smith and Nelson Aguilar,
try to
and
put
they turned out to
didn't
be
work out.
bums. No,
Yeah, try to put a
not at
band-aid
all.
on a scar, right? So
Yeah,
is there any if Bill Belichick does leave, going back to him, is there anyone that you would like to see hired by the New England Patriots?
I haven't looked into it at all.
No.
To be honest with you, they're probably going to want to hire from within. There's rumblings about Gerard Mayo. I think you need to bring in an established coach in here, not guys like Gerard Mayo.
Well, we'll see where it takes us. But and my last
Yeah,
question for you, um, in reality, how long do you think it'll take before the Patriots can start competing again? Right?
they're years away.
Yeah,
Years
that
away.
long.
The roster is so bad. There's no talent from top to bottom. also who are they going to bring in? Is that person going to make the right decisions? Because we've seen around, especially in the NFL, teams that are just in a constant rebuild or just always sucking. I mean, like the Bears, the Jets kind of come to mind all the time.
Yeah, there's a lot of variables when it comes to a football team, right? It's hard. It's hard to start, build up from where you guys are right now.
It was.
I mean,
Belichick was a good 20-year run, but his time is due. His
Look,
decision making has just
come
been awful. He lets Jacoby Myers go in the offseason and replace him with Juju Smith-Schuster, he's played 9 games. The guy has 24 catches. They gave him $11 million a year. He lets go of Nick Folk, the kicker. He's 22 of 23 this year with the Titans, and then their kicker Chad Weiland, the rookie's missing a 35-yarder Satire win games. Just bad decision making all around.
It's an abomination of a team. It's not fun to watch. But look, like I said, you guys were spoiled for a long time. Like as you said just 2 seconds ago, about 2 decades, right? 2 decades, excuse me. So it is what it is. It is what it is. Hopefully they can get back to their winning ways. But like you said, it's going to take some time, right? I think that's it for now. I don't know if you have any final thoughts, Joe. I know it's hard for you to talk about.
But we're ready to get back to winning Super Bowls.
Well, hopefully they can. Hopefully they can take the right steps moving forward, starting with this year's draft, right? Until then, if you guys have any comments about this, let us know in the comment section, please. And have yourselves a great night.